This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
Corey Winfield. You have a rich person's name. Like, you should be a billionaire with the name Winfield. Anyway, call me back, bro.
It is the 1st of July, 2023. My name is Sir Corey Winfield.
And my name is Justin Burt.
Ooh, out of nowhere.
Fabulous.
That's what's up, Justin. How you doing? And first, I'm going to just say, though, we are out live on location. We are at the Bay of the Traverse. Grand Traverse Bay?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we are. Traverse City,
Bay.
Michigan. They have a little thing going on here called the Cherry Festival. Big fan of cherries, Justin?
I'll have to get all up in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like cherries.
Yeah, they're all right. I guess Traverse City, they say, is the cherry capital of America or the world or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, that's what they say. That's what they say, but I just don't believe it.
There's a lot of cherry trees.
Of the world?
Yeah.
On the earth?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Seems like that'd be a lot of cherries. It seems like I'd be just walking over cherries sometimes. Like, I'd be like, hey, I'm going to go to the store, but I want to, but all these damn cherries are in the way. You know, like, who's the pig capital of the world?
We'd have to Google it.
Because I wouldn't ever want to go to that place because it probably smell like...
Boo-boo.
Yeah. Like, oh, geez, yeah, stop. We get it. Yeah, it would not smell good. But we're out here, though, today. It is the Cherry Festival, whether they are the true cherry capital of the world or not. We're here. And while we are here at this table in the sun,
Baking.
looking at my watch to try to figure out what the temperature is, that doesn't work that way. Some watches do. I think yours might.
It says it's 70 degrees, but...
It's 70 degrees and the sun is 104.
Yeah.
And it's just an early morning sun, so if you're used to that kind of heat, you can come on out, man. Of course, I wore my perfect, beautiful black shirt that is heavy, cotton.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got the 217 logo on it, so that's why I wore it. And the reason why I wore it is because Marnie, Emmy, Matt, and then I think Matt's mom, and then the other guy.
Jeremy?
Oh, Jeremy, too, yeah. I was going to get to him. Are volunteering here to kind of give back, to show the community, like, hey, we're sober, this is what we do. And we have a new, why can't I think of what I'm about to say?
Mission statement?
Yes. Mission statement. We have a new mission statement. And it says in there that we like to promote a fun and productive recovery lifestyle. And we want to be not only welcomed in the community, but we also want to be appreciated in the community.
Nice.
Yeah. So we want to kind of show that we do that, and we give back by coming out here. And this is a huge event, obviously, in Traverse City, and the more people that we can put in front of us saying, like, look, here we are, we're sober, we're clean, we're living life of recovery, and we're giving back to the community. And the more people that can see that, and they're like, oh, okay, those guys.
Yeah.
You know, I learned that at Nathan's house, Jason DeBeck.
Oh, yeah, he was good for that.
Yeah, he
Get
was.
out in the community, do something positive with your life.
Yeah, and like,
show them.
Like, say we'll take two people here, okay? Just an example. So there's the guy who goes to treatment 8 times, and his whole family, well, his family knows his issues, his problems, and his friends do too, but he leaves town, gets clean, starts over, and then just doesn't tell anybody he's in recovery. He doesn't tell anybody anything about his problems, just lives his life. You got that guy. Nothing wrong with that. No. And then you got a guy who goes to treatment a bunch of times, family, friends, everybody knows his issues, but then he leaves town, comes out, and is like, I'm going to start a recovery podcast. I'm going to tell people I'm sober. I'm going to tell people that I'm doing good. You know, because if you don't tell people that you're doing good, if you don't tell people your struggle, they don't know. And sometimes it takes stories like yours, like mine, to let people know, like, hey, you can recover and you can get your life back.
Right.
And that is inspiration for other people who are struggling, you know, and like struggling like I struggled, you know, struggle like you struggle. And to see somebody like actually kind of make it and do the things that they're going to say they were going to do and just live a beautiful life in recovery, you know, get married and have kittens all over the place and You know, like it's amazing what life can bring you and how you learn how you can deal with things. Tough things sometimes.
Yeah. Like divorce?
Yeah. That would probably be a very, very tough thing to deal with. And to know that you can go through that without using or drinking or anything. And then you can show other people, hey, like, well, Justin did that. Like all this stuff, crazy stuff happened to Justin.
Exactly.
He stayed clean. He stayed sober. Oh, there was times I'm sure you were tempted. I'm sure it would have been easy. It would have been very easy to just run right out and go get some stuff or get drunk. And you could have been like, well, drinking's not my thing, so I can drink anyway.
Oh, I thought about it. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be lying if I said I didn't. But it's what we do to counter-react it. Like, I actually called one of my old buddies I used to go drinking with all the time. I was like, hey, let's go get a bottle, get tore up. And he's like, hold up, dude, I don't drink no more. He's like, I'm 6 months, 8 months clean. He goes, I don't drink no more. And he goes, you're going to lose everything you got going for you right now just over what? Over some little female problem?
Mm-hmm.
He goes, is it really worth it?
And that's what she probably wanted, too.
Oh, yeah.
You know, she would have been just so tickled. She would have been tickled pink if that would have happened.
Oh, I'm sure. But, you know, I mean, it's just things like that. I mean, we got to take things day by day and sometimes minute by minute, depending on how we're doing that day.
Yeah, too, man. Right now, it's beautiful. Like, if you would have told me, Justin, when I met you, if you would have pulled me into the side and said, hey, man, in like 2 years, we're going to be hanging out on the bay, like 5 feet from the water, drinking Monster after we ate some pancakes, and we're going to be doing a podcast.
Right.
I'd have been like, Justin, what are you talking about, dude? You need more treatment, buddy. You need to get off the drugs you're on, man. That's what I would have said to you. I think there's no way.
You kind of did. I mean, I said I was going to come back to work for the treatment center I went to.
Mm-hmm.
The only one I went to. People in the treatment center laughed at me, and you were like, no, you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you took me to sober living, and on the way up there, I made the comment of something along the lines of, I'm going to come work for you one day.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of laughed at it, and you're like, hey, one thing at a time. and now look where we're at, 2 years later.
Yeah. And that just showed, because I think a lot of that didn't have to do with doubting you. It was kind of like how.
Self-doubt?
Yeah, like how am I going to pay you? Like, what do you mean work for me? You know, like how's that going to even happen? And we were so new at that time too, you know, doing the transportation and stuff. Like, I was just trying to get the next ride, you know. So to think about how I'm going to employ people, like, dude, that's silly talk. You know, like, you're crazy, dude. Like, that's nuts. But here we are.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just about not giving up. And, you know, that's cool that you know, believe in 217 recovery, and, you know, that you believe in the things that I do. And I think that attracts some people. It deters some people too. You know, some people are like, man, I don't want to mess with Corey. And that's fine. And, you know, that's just either they don't want to put it out on Front Street, or they're just not really in that mindset of let's do everything we can to stay sober.
Right.
You know, that'll kind of scare people away too. There was one dude that was like, oh, I'm going to start a podcast, man. He did like 2 episodes, and then he just went ghost, and, you know, turned out that he relapsed, which, hey, that happens. You know, it's part of addiction. You know, oh, I'm sorry, I was cleaning my buttons and I just hit that. But it's part of an addiction relapse. So, you know, to think someone's not going to relapse, that's silly. You know, sometimes they do. Not every time. You know, if you give them an excuse and say relapse is part of recovery, well, hell yeah, man. I relapse my ass off all the time.
Right. I did that for 20 plus years, relapse, and not even realizing what I was doing, you know, because I didn't know nothing about addiction until I went to jail, of course. Then they're like, you need to go somewhere to figure your life out. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, where am I going to go? I don't know anything, you know, and here we are almost 3 years later, clean, sober. Actually, we got 3.5 years clean and sober. So, I mean, it's quite the achievement. And
you're living a life, and this has got to be scary for some people, because, like, you went to jail because the things that you were doing, man, like, you were making money, you were hustling, and it was all bad things, you know, and to actually come out of jail and go, okay, let's do things right, and have zero clue on really how to do any of that, you know, that had to be a little bit scary, man. And you'd probably be looking over your shoulder a lot going, well, I can always go back to this life, you know, like that'd be pretty tempting sometimes, you know, but to have the guts to stick it out and go through it all.
Right.
and go down that road of uncertainty.
I made the joke a couple times, but, just in joking, but to actually have to go back that lifestyle, I wouldn't want to do it. I've been watching what my brother's going through, and it's a shame, man.
Mm-hmm.
Throwing everything away in his life just over getting a bag.
Yeah, jails, institutions, or death. And I'm telling you, sometimes they'll let you out just to catch you again to make the charges even worse.
Right.
Like, because they know what you're doing. They know where you're going. If you're not one of these guys in there, they're like, hey, I need help. Give me the treatment. You got to advocate for yourself sometimes. And if you have a loved one that's locked up or something, bring that up to them. Like, you got to advocate for yourself while you're there, man. Like, you have a problem. You're addicted. Whether it's alcohol, whether it's meth, whether it's heroin, acid, coke, sex. Sex might be a little different if you're locked up. Yeah, probably. But I'm just saying, you got to advocate for yourself, and you got to let them know, hey, man, I'm sick. This is a disease. It's a disability. If you drink or if you're labeled an alcoholic, it's a disability for the rest of your life.
Right. So
I'm just throwing that out there. That's facts in Michigan anyway. And meth, they say meth isn't, I don't think, but heroin, if you're on MAT, medically assisted treatment, as long as you're on that, you are considered to have a disability.
That don't surprise me.
So just keep that in mind, and keep that in mind when you're looking for housing or looking for jobs, and you don't have to go up to them and say, hey, man, I got a disability. Here's what it is. I used to shoot this much dope. You don't have to say that to them, but if you're saying, hey, I do have a disability, you check the box, yes. And you don't have to write what it is. It's a medical thing for you. So just let them know that you do have one. And I don't know if they get tax credit for hiring people like that. I have no idea.
I'm sure they do.
Sometimes I check yes, sometimes I check no. Depends how I'm feeling that day. Depends what I'm going for. Because I still feel the stigma. Like if I check yes, like they'll look at me and go, okay, well, what's this guy's problem? Like what's his disability? Is it cray-cray? He's got his fingers, he's got his legs. Like what's going on with this guy? What's his disability? And I feel like that people do judge. And, for someone like myself being fired for having severe depression and clinically diagnosed with severe depression, and the radio station at Harbor going, well, we don't know how to deal with that, so we'll just, fire them and not work with them. That's shitty. And, to file a complaint with the state and the EEOC, and they just go, well, unless they come out and say they fired you because you were depressed, we can't really do nothing about it. We think they're lying. We pretty much know they're lying, but we can't do nothing about it. I'm like, well, then why have these regulations? Like, why try to scare people with all this? Like if I fired you, Justin, I'm like, well, you're fired because you're depressed. Then you could, okay, we'll file a claim. But if I just go, Justin, I'm going to fire you. And you go, why? And I say, because. Like, I don't have that because you wore a purple shirt today. Which you're not. You're actually wearing gray. But you could do that, and it's just so stupid. And
well, Michigan's at will anyways. Now it is.
Yeah.
Years ago, it never was.
Yeah, ever since I can remember. But they're talking about changing it, but I don't know how that's going, and I don't have time to look into it right now. But if you're out there and you have Google on your phone, go check it out. But just to say, though, I know that it sucks being discriminated against, and there's nothing that you can really do about it except move on. That kept me stuck for a long time, a real long time, because I've never been fired before, and I thought, man, these people of all people are going to do that. And I held resentments. I still do. They're not as strong. It's just like they're in a category of people I'll never like.
Right.
And I'm cool with that.
I don't think I've ever really been fired from a job. I've quit a lot of jobs over my days. I don't think I've actually ever been fired. I've gotten that phone call and said, you're fired. Because I don't really count temp agencies for that, really. Because they'll wait until your 90th day, and then you get the phone call that says, well, you're no longer going to that assignment tomorrow. We'll have a new one for you.
Okay. Yeah, that's a little different, I guess.
Yeah.
I never got the phone call either. It just, my email was shut off and my phone got shut off. I was like, what the Yeah.
Wow.
And then, like, before they did that, this chick texted me and was like, hey, sorry to hear about that. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, oh, here's the email. Did you see it? I said, no. So she sent it, screenshot it, and sent it to me. And it was like, Corey Winfield no longer works here. He will not be coming back ever. And I was like, okay. And then that's when they shut my phone off, too. And I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, then I went to file unemployment. I'm like, I was fired. And they're like, no, you weren't. I was like, yes, I was. Thanks, Michigan. A piece of shit judge over in Detroit. I think her name was Brown or something like that. I'm not a fan of hers.
You're not a fan of a lot of judges.
No, especially that. Like, I mean, it was clear. Like, I had the email here. Here's the email they sent. I called in sick, because they were like, hey, you need to come in. And I was sick. Like, literally, I was sick. And they were like, you need to come in tomorrow to this meeting or else. And I was like, oh, my God. And then my anxiety, and I was trying to get on medication. I was just diagnosed 2 weeks prior with severe depression. And now I'm like, oh, my God, like, what am I supposed to do? And I'm like, well, I can't drive in this condition, so I can't come in. And that's when they were like, yep, you're fired, Winfield. But like I said, they never even told me. And the fact that I called in every day, like I let them know, hey, I'm not coming in. I'm not well. And the judge was like, well, why didn't you drive up there just to see what was wrong? I said, because I was sick. I was ill. Like, what? Do you not understand what I just said? Well, you should have went up there.
Depression's a real thing.
Yeah, and that's what she said, too, is after they shut my phone off and the email was sent out saying I will not be returning, then I should have went up there. I was like, and to do what? To punch somebody in the face? Like, do you want me to bring a weapon with me? Like, what do you want me to do? And
they wonder why mass shootings happen.
Yeah. I was like, that judge was an idiot. I hope she's somewhere doing really bad stuff somewhere. And that's a hard thing to say, to wish on somebody, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
If she stubs her toe today, I wouldn't be too mad about it.
Karma.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure she's getting hers. And I'm sure I'm not the only person she screwed over like that either. We should have Judge Talk Tuesdays or something. Now, there are a couple cool judges out there, but I just...
A lot of the newer ones are starting to get with the program.
Oh, yeah. There's one in Wexford County here in Michigan that I'm real fond of. I don't know his name, though. I want to say maybe Gilmore or Elmore, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it was at I sat in this one guy I took there. He had to do his arraignment or something, and something of those sorts, and we sat through a bunch of different cases because, of course, the guy I brought, he was last. And so we sat through a lot of stuff, man. Like this one hockey coach or whatever was doing funky stuff with the boy, and yeah, that wasn't cool. But there was one lady, it was like her third DUI, I want to say. And she had been to treatment some, and, she was supposed to go to jail for 6 months, and the prosecuting attorney was like, well, we need to put her and lock her up, and da-da-da. And then the judge was like, yeah, we'll make her do weekends. Because she had a job. She had 3 kids. Nobody could take care of her kids. Right. So, and the prosecutor's like, well, the grandparents can take care of them. And she's like, well, first of all, my parents are 75 and 78, my kids are 8, 10, and 4 or something. She's like, how's that's just not going to work, they're not in a place to do that.
It makes it hard.
Yeah, and the woman, she's like, I know I need help, but I need counseling, I need therapy, I need to talk about this, I need to, I need to keep working on myself, because, and I think her lawyer might have said, going to jail is not going to help her get better. Like, sure, we can punish her to death. Like, do you think she feels good about it? No. And she probably is relieved that, nobody was killed and all that good stuff, because I know I am. But
right, so am I. I've drove drunk a few times.
And nobody jumps behind the wheel drunk and goes, this is a good idea. Alcohol makes you do bad things, bad choices.
Super bad.
When we were at the RCO conference, retreat, whatever you want to call it, the other day, we were there, and they were talking about the opioid settlement money, which it's like, whatever, man. The state of Michigan took half, but whatever. And then they gave the rest of the half to the counties, and the counties are out there just buying boats and SWAT teams and doing whatever they want with it, and it's supposed to go to help the people that it hurt. And It's not. It's helping the counties, it's helping the state. And they're like, it's up to you guys to go cheer on and go take on these battles. And
well, by the time we even found out about it, it's too late.
Yeah, and that's another thing, though. Like, for me, look on the outside looking in, it's just one thing that the state was looking at, and all the states, all America, and they're like, how come we're not getting this money?
Right.
And they want us some money. They're getting money from the lotto. They're getting money from liquor. They're getting money from weed. They're getting money from cigarettes. How come we're not getting any of this pill money? I want my pill money. That's what they said. So then they went out and they got their pill money. So good for them. And I bet you if it was taxed in a different way, they'd still sell it. They'd probably have a place on the corner you could buy it
I agree the state should have got a certain percentage because honestly, how many people go to treatment with Medicaid?
Yeah, but they're not using any of that money for Medicaid. They're using
No.
it to fix roads or buy the governor a new house on Mackinac Island. That's what and they're not even telling you what they're using it for. They're like,
Right.
we don't have to. We're not going to.
I'm just saying if they were held more accountable for it and
Right.
gave more people the option of going to treatment, gave the people more options of getting put on an MAT program. Even Vivitrol costs money. You
But
know?
instead of like taking that money and putting it back to where it needs to go, they're just spending it. And they're charging the taxpayers still to keep funding all these other people, which and the money's there. The feds they give money for it too, but the money comes from somewhere. It's got to, and the fact that they're just kind of sweeping under the rug, nothing to see here, nothing to see here. And some counties are doing good things with it because it goes to counties, and some cities, not a lot of cities requested it, but I know Traverse City did, and Grand Traverse County, of course, all the counties in Michigan requested it, so they're getting some of the money, but. Yeah, what are they doing? I don't know. And do I have time to go fight it? No. And for what little change they're going to give me? I don't know. It just seems ridiculous. And then you look at alcohol, and I'm like, wait a minute. Like alcohol kills people every day. Like more people die from alcohol than die from opioid overdoses every day. And it's like, wait. So I can be attacked. People that like me who drank and kind of did everything, but like, how come we get attacked? Like we get attacked every day on TV. There's a Bud Light tent right over there. There's a hard seltzer tent. We're at the Pancake breakfast. There's a Budweiser sign on the trash can. I'm getting attacked right now. But that's cool. That's cool. Even though that kills more people. But why?
It revenues money.
Because they put a little thing on the bottom of their can that says drink responsibly.
Yeah, please drink responsibly.
On the medicine bottle too, it said take as prescribed.
Right.
And it wasn't giving them the opioids that made them want to go use drugs. It was when they took it away. If the doctors, and this is my opinion as a professional radio broadcaster, if the doctors would have just weaned people off like they were supposed to, instead of just going, nope, you can't have any more. Well, they're going to go somewhere. They're going to look for something else.
Yeah, they're dope sick.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that miniseries on Hulu?
Yeah.
That was great. I actually enjoyed it because I really didn't know much about the whole opiate epidemic really until then.
Yeah, and how the pharmaceutical companies it wasn't a true story. They're just kind of suggesting that's how it happened. And did the pharmaceutical company do that? I don't know. Did they tell people, "Oh, nope, you can't get hooked on this"? I don't know. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. And if that's the case, okay, sure, take them to task for that. But
right,
we can still take the alcohol people to task. Well, no, because it says on there like this is poison that you're putting in your body. No, it doesn't say that, and it doesn't say that.
It'll give you cirrhosis.
Yeah, it'll make me black out and all kinds of stuff. It'll do to damage your body. It's poison.
Right.
It doesn't say that. It doesn't say, hey, you might black out and drive your car. It doesn't say that on the bottle.
I blacked out, drove my car a few times. Don't remember how I got places.
It's scary, man. And when you're sober, of course you're not going to drive. Like if they would have asked you before you took off that night, hey man, are you going to drive tonight? You'd be like, no, I'm drinking.
Right.
Boom. And then, yeah, that's how it happened with me. And it was just like, wait, what? I'm in my car. I'm like, why am I in my car? And it was just one of those crazy, like some dude's beating on my window. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, well, you almost killed somebody. You're driving drunk. I said, I'm sitting in my car. He's like, but you were driving around drunk. I said, no, I wasn't. I'm sitting in my car. I don't drive drunk, stupid. And I get out and he's like, I'm going to call the police. I was like, call him. Call him, bro. Wasn't driving. And I swore I wasn't driving, until I got out. And then I saw the damage that was done. Apparently I hit like a trash or a garbage dumpster.
Dang.
And then I thought, oh man, some dirty cops came over and smashed my window out and put a green stripe down the side of my car to make it look like I hit a dumpster. Like I really was convinced because I did not think I drove. And then when I got out of the jail, they're like, you can't drink it, wait till your arraignment or whatever, wait till your court date. And I was like, all right, man. And so of course I get home, there's a half gallon sitting on the counter. I start drinking. And I remember starting to drink, and I remember Brady Bunch was in my house, and I was like, oh, that's what they mean by hallucinate. Have you ever hallucinated? So they would always ask me that, and I'm like, how would I know? They're like, you'd know. And I remember, like, Brady Bunch is in my house, and I know that this is not real, but that's pretty weird. And that's the last thing I remember, waking up and to a text from my mom saying, you pay your rent yet? And I was like, yeah. I'm going to pay it on Monday. She's like, honey, it's Wednesday. and to look, like, get up, feel like I'm hit by a truck, look around, see empty half gallons on the floor, a hole through the wall where apparently I had stumbled into the door and it went through the handle, went through the drywall, and then whatever I was trying to cook in the kitchen looked like a hot mess.
Damn.
And don't remember any of it. And that's when I was like, maybe I did drive. Clearly somebody went and got these bottles.
Right.
I don't know, man. It was that's when it kind of hit home, and learning more about alcohol and how that works, and how when you, at least for me, when I would have like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, then I maybe put a month together, put 2 months together clean. All that time, my brain was healing, and my tolerance was going down. But just like they'll tell you if you go to treatment, or somebody who's been to treatment, they'll tell you, you'll pick up right where you left off.
Exactly.
And that's why a lot of people will overdose with heroin. It's because they're like, oh, well, I do this much. And then they get clean for a while, and they go back trying to do that same amount, and their body's not used to it, and it's just too much for them.
Yeah, well, you can even overdose on alcohol. It's called alcohol poisoning. I mean, people die from it every day, but they don't tell you that.
Nope.
It's sad. I mean, I woke up a couple times the next day feeling like crap for a few hours, and it just kept getting worse. That's why I turned away from drinking and went to stimulants. So I was like, oh, well, I can just wake up and get right back on the horse and go right back to town.
Yeah.
And never feel anything. Waking up having to drink just to feel drunk again, I didn't like that feeling.
Yeah, just to feel normal. I would have to drink just to feel like, oh, okay, normal. Now I can function. And then you just keep going with it. And then the next day, and it's the same thing. You got to do it again. Yeah, that's not anywhere on the bottles. Well,
No.
you drink responsibly. Just have one a day. And they say if you have one drink a day, that's still too much. That's not responsibly good. And as well as I do, Justin, like, if someone tells you, well, I drink a 6-pack a day, I call them a liar. Because there's no way. There's no way you drink a 6-pack a day. First of all, beer doesn't really taste all that good. And to drink a 6-pack of it, what are you drinking it for? The flavor? No, you're drinking it for the buzz. You're drinking it for that calm, that feeling you get at first. And eventually it's going to take 7. It's going to take 8. It's going to take 9. It's going to take 10.
Exactly.
You're not just going to be like, yep, I've been drinking 6 beers a day for the last 5 years. No, you might as well just drink water.
Yeah, it'll fluctuate.
Yeah. Oh, well, I drink 6 beers, but no, I get a half pint too. I get a pint. And it'll be like, well, I get a 5th. And you're like, yeah, I chase my half gallon. I go up and swig the half gallon, and I chase it with a beer. That's where it happens. Like no one just stays on that set amount of 6 beers a day. And that's a lot. That's a lot. Really, if you're thinking about it, like, why would somebody come home from work and just drink 6 beers?
Yeah, I don't know.
So I just say,
It baffles me.
they lying. It's a cool story, bro. That's when you tell them. If everybody says, no, I just drink like 4 or 5 a day. Cool story,
Right.
bro. Just look at them and just shake your head.
You have no clue.
Like, the shit you're selling, I'm not buying it.
Right.
Oh, so there's a little breeze on the lake now.
Yeah, that's kind of nice.
Yeah. I thought a bird had crapped on my head, Justin. Because I felt like
sweat?
it was like sweat. It's just like, I don't know if I moved my headphones, but maybe the headphones were holding in the sweat. But I moved it, and it just like went pouring down the side of my face, and I thought, oh man, a bird just crapped on me. But that's not the case.
You're starting to put table covers on.
Uh-oh. Wonder if we're going to have to wrap it up.
Probably.
Yeah. What time? So in real time.
It's 9:50.
Yeah, 9:50. It's not 9:50, dude. Is it?
Yeah.
Dang, it's still early. It felt like 11 in the morning.
No.
But that's what time we're doing this. And I didn't bring my laptop with me, so I'm just doing the Rodecaster Pro podcast. So I'm just going to save it in there, and then we'll publish it when I get back to work later. So whenever you're hearing this, probably like 2, 1, 2, 3 o'clock. We did this earlier this morning.
Right.
So you're time traveling. You're going back in time to listen to. We should read the news, like what's happening right now, and then tell people later. It'll make you feel like you went back in time or something. Maybe that's stupid.
Yeah, that's kind of stupid.
People behind me are probably thinking like, "Oh, this is a great podcast. I'm gonna have to check it out." Not. No, but they got boats out here in the lake, and it's just a beautiful day, man. It's just a beautiful morning.
Gorgeous.
If I had my choice of attire, I'd probably wear something a little different today.
Me too.
Hey, you're in jeans.
Double t-shirt.
Double t-shirt. You got the hat that looks cool. It feels nice, but it's super hot.
Yeah.
Like our 217 recovery hats. I don't even know what it's made out of. Like some kind of alien.
Polyester type feel.
Yeah, polyester and cotton maybe, but it's smooth. It's nice. You put it on your head, you're like, oh, yeah. But you go out in public and you're like, oh, my gosh, you take off and you're just sweating everywhere.
Yeah.
But we will we'll wrap it up from here. And I did take some pictures. I took pictures of everybody that was volunteering. I don't think I took pictures of us, but we're kind of covered in sweat, so
yeah, not so good.
That's why we talk on microphones.
That's right.
But I did run into some people, and I gave you the card. What was the name?
The dehydrated cherry queens.
Yeah. And they were like, "Hey," and I was like, "What's up?" And they're like, "You want to come hang out with the queens?" I said, "The queens. All right, what's up?" And then they're like, "Take my picture." And I was like, "Okay, calm down." And they're like, "You want to go back to the house?" I said, "For what? Ice cream?" And they said, "No."
Sexual relation.
Oh, you want me to hit it?
Sexual
relation. No, none of that actually happened. They were like, "Hey, what's up?" And I was like, "Hey, cool. Can I take your picture?" And they said, "Sure." And then I made a move around, and I had the chance. I'm like, "Hold on, it's too light. Let me put the ISO or whatever to different." And so I took their picture a few times, and I was like, "Hey, like we can call you for parties and stuff." And they kind of looked at me and they said, "Nah, we don't do that stuff no more." I said, "What? Oh, I get what you're saying." And I looked at the business card they handed me, and it said dehydrated cherry queens. I thought, you can go a lot of different avenues with that one.
Yeah, you can.
But their picture will be on our website.
Nice.
Yeah, and the pancakes. And then I think I'll post video, but they were like the pancakes.
They're flipping them, flying them.
Yeah, they're
in the air.
The flying pancakes. And that's what they do. They make you stand about 5 feet back, 6 feet back.
Catch your pancakes.
And the kid's like, "Here you go," and they flip them to you.
3 of them.
Yep. Mine hit the ground. One of them did.
Ooh.
So I didn't want that one.
I pre-warned you.
Yeah, and I just thought that's a lot of work for somebody. I just want some pancakes. But you don't have to cut your sausage or anything like that. It was a little pricey. I think it goes to some kind of something. Charity or something.
Hopefully. Sure. Hopefully some nonprofit.
Yeah, it does. And it's like $15. Here I am being cute. I went to the store and I was like, "Yeah, I'll get 20 over." So we had some cash. I thought it was like $8. And we get here and they're like $30. And I was like, "What?" And technically, since Marty and everybody's donating their time, we probably could have too. Got in for free, but whatever, man. We're not about that life. We're in recovery. No. We got the extra Skrilla.
Right.
But yeah, then I had to look at Justin and go, because then she's like, "We take cards." I'm like, "Oh yeah, well I left mine in the car."
Good thing I had mine.
Like our old friend Joey King, he was the king of that. Actually, no pun intended on his last name, but he'd always leave his wallet somewhere. He'd be like, "Hey," but it'd be his idea. "Hey, let's go out to here. Let's go out to there." And then you get there and he'd be like, "Oh man, I left my wallet." Like, dude. But so Justin had to come through and drop the card on it. Yeah, so if you're gonna come down here, it's cool. It's fun. Pancakes were good. Sausage was great.
Yeah, that was all good.
Mm-hmm. They got some OJ in there. They got coffee. It's a good time. A lot of smiles. Beautiful people. Right. Beautiful view.
They're setting up some sort of food tent behind us here.
Looks like there's a bunch of kids.
No, over here to my left.
Oh yeah. That's probably the
Brats hot dogs, I think.
Oh yeah, because they got. Oh, I wonder if we could get one. Should we go do some live stuff from over there? You gonna send me out with the wireless? I'll say it though. I'm already thinking bad things, so
I'm sure you are.
We should probably just wrap it up.
Yeah,
because we don't want to get kicked out of here, especially because Marnie and Jeremy and everybody else are like, yeah, at 11, because they're done at 11, and we were supposed to come back and pick them up. And Marnie's like, "Oh, I think we get to eat at 11." So I was like, "Oh, okay. So what time you want us to come pick you up?" And then like where we dropped them off like early this morning, I don't think that's going to be an option later because Traverse City, like 15,000 people live here.
Yeah, the traffic's going to be horrible.
Yeah, so the city's built for 15,000 people, and there's probably 90,000 people, 80,000 people.
Probably.
So you do the math on that, how much fun it is living in Traverse City. I'm on the Human Rights Commission, and I told the other commissioners when we left the last meeting, because it occurred to me that, Cherry Fest is coming up. And I said I was going to promote people don't go to Cherry Fest and don't vacation in Traverse City. And they were like, wait, that's how the city makes money. And I said, that's not my concern.
Right.
That's not my concern. I just want to go places without 80,000 people in my way. And they just kind of looked at me. They're like, Corey, stop it. I was like, it's all about me, damn it. Don't you know? Don't you know, Holmes?
You don't know this yet?
No, but being on the Human Rights Commission, just real quick, because I always do this. I'm like, let's wrap it up, and then I go on for another half hour. But a lot of people have been reaching out to me about different things, and this is a great thing, and this is why I think God had me even register, because I'm like, why am I on the Human Rights Commission? I don't have time for this, but I really do, and to bring attention to different things to people on the commission, and a gentleman reached out to me the other day in an email, and he was telling me about him and his wife and what they do here. And they just kind of moved here, and they were just shocked by the amount of human trafficking that's going on in Traverse City.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah, and I was like, well, I tried to mention something that to the other commissioners, and they just kind of looked at me like I was crazy. And I was like, no, this does happen, and here's a huge part of it, is this whole system here. And you guys are giving these people tons of money thinking that they're helping it, and all they're doing is hurting it and bringing in more of this other stuff. And they just kind of looked at me like, okay, well, we'll bring so-and-so in, and you can talk to him about it. And I was like, oh, we can talk about it all day. I was like, but he'll tell you it's not true, but I'm telling you this is what happens. Talk to people that are out there, but this guy, I was like, come to the Human Rights Commission, man. I was like, this is stuff that these people need to hear, because if they hear me saying it, they just think I'm on some mission because I don't like somebody, and it has nothing to do with it whatsoever.
Exactly.
I'm just trying to bring it to their attention. This is what happens, and this is how it's happening. And they just look at me like, no, because that person's supposed to be the savior guy. He's supposed to be helping. Well, he thinks he is too, but it's a job for him.
Right.
So he's going to do whatever his job tells him to do. He's going to say whatever his job tells him to say. For me, that is not a job. That's just an obvious statement of knowing people that live there. And like you weren't surprised by that at all. You're like, yeah, absolutely. It's freaking horrible.
Well, we're right on Lake Michigan. I mean, think about it. Waterway. I mean, people can be gone real quick and never even known. Mm-hmm. You're looking for them on a road. No, they're in the lake already over in Wisconsin.
Or they're just at the hotel.
Right.
Or in the woods.
The pines.
It's easy to keep people out there. And when women or people come into these situations and they don't know people, and people have really bad intentions, and they look at somebody coming in as like, oh, that's like they're preying on them.
Right.
Almost like a fox and a rabbit. A fox is like, okay, hey, what's up, rabbit? Like, come over here, get in my hole. And then there's like, arr. He kills the rabbit, and there's blood everywhere. He's like just munching on it for days. I wonder how many days. I wonder how long it takes a fox to eat a rabbit.
I don't know.
They'll have to get all up in it.
Yeah.
Probably they do. But my point, though, is people are vulnerable sometimes, and people are evil sometimes, too. And you combine those two, and it's a bad combination. And next thing you know, the person's being trafficked, and they're being used to do things, and the drugs are involved, and the money is used to buy more drugs to spread around, and it's a vicious cycle.
It's a no-win situation.
Yeah, no win. I mean, there's a way to win, but nobody wants to put a bear out in the woods, where they live anyway. Like, what if you put like a lion, a tiger, and a bear and some skunks just down the woods? Let them run the city.
That's where they live.
Yeah, not in the city, but they know they're supposed to stay in the woods. Yeah,
right.
Just keep don't put your trash out early. You should be fine.
Exactly.
Yeah, should be good. I mean, I'd like my idea. I'll bring it up to them. But there are people that are coming, and they're going to talk to the commission about that, and I think that's good that people do that, and that will really help the Human Rights Commission, I think, understand like, okay, this stuff is going on, and there's some really great things about Traverse City, but being part of that Human Rights Commission isn't about all the great things. It's about making sure that people have access to basic human rights. And
right.
And to be safe, I think, would be one of them. But we'll see. And there was another issue too with like insurance and people getting treated accordingly, as opposed to wait, you're on Medicaid, okay, not going to fix you. You go over here and wait. Hey, yeah, you got private pay. Yeah, let's actually go through and diagnose you with what you really have and what's really wrong. Because the other one, if you're coming on Medicaid, okay, well, you're not going to die from it today, so technically I don't have to fix you. Is it wrong? Is it something that's going to hurt you? Yeah. But that, if we wanted to fix you, it's going to cost us $80,000, and Medicaid's only going to pay us $4, and we're not going to do that. So we're just going to put you over here because you're not dying today. Will you die from it? Absolutely, but maybe in 5 years, and we'll deal with it then. Is it going to be too late? Probably, but we don't have time for it because we're not getting paid for it, so let's just move on.
Well, they treat the symptoms, and they don't treat the actual problem.
Right. Like with me, like I have insurance now, I really need to go back, and it'll be interesting to see how my diagnosis will change. And I've Googled it, and I've done all kinds of stuff, and they say, don't Google stuff, but I did because I have this pain, and it's in my spleen. And I start reading more about the spleen and why the spleen enlarges, because it's like taking blood, because there's something else wrong, so it's like storing blood. Uh-oh. We got the president coming in. Looks like Biden's coming in. Hi, Marnie's stopping by in her sober shirt. She's not wearing headphones, so she can't hear me or nothing. And this helicopter's coming in. It's coming in hot.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, Justin, it's coming. It's right above us. USCG. That's the
US Coast Guard. Yeah.
Watch this. No, I was gonna jump in the lake to see if they'd save me. I bet that wouldn't work out very well for me.
No, probably
They're
not.
like, we're going to this pancake breakfast over here.
Right.
The fat guy should have jumped in with his shoes on. That's what they say. We ain't got time for that. Oh, that breeze feels so nice.
Oh, yeah.
But I remember what I was saying about something. Oh, no. Oh, good catch. We should probably close that. Yeah, sorry. We're just doing some maintenance here on the table.
Nice breeze down here.
That just came because you stepped down here.
Yeah.
Marnie's like, oh, there's a nice breeze. Yep.
Yeah, that just showed up.
All right, I love you too. I love. She said to say that I'm awesome. Is that what she said?
No, she said love you too. She came down here to wipe down some tables.
Oh.
Check the table situation out.
Oh, okay. She didn't wipe my head down.
I know it's glycerin pretty good.
Sexual relationship.
Not that one. So, whatever I was talking about earlier, you understand my point, I'm sure. And I just gonna wrap it up though. And we're gonna go. We'll probably go back. We can go back to the office and maybe get this baby published, and then by that time we can come back and pick our people up.
Right.
Let our people go. That's what we'll say. So thanks for listening to the 217 Recovery Podcast. Like I said, there'll be pictures on the website, 217recovery.com. We'll throw some on Facebook, our socials. We're going to throw some pictures up there as well. But we got some pictures of the bay, some pictures of some people's kids, some pancakes. So check it out. It's very, very interesting if you ever want to see pancakes.
I bet.
And a picture for them. And I took them. So if you ever want to hire a pancake picture taker guy.
You're the guy?
Not saying I'm the guy, but I'm just saying you might want to reach out. So we'll talk to you later. Thanks for listening. And we're having fun in recovery, man.
All right. Later.
Thanks for listening to the 217 Recovery Podcast. We hope you come back for our next episode.